That Tesla trade today wasn't terrible. I mean, it didn't work out as good as I had hoped, but that was just kind of the reality of the market we're in right now. At one point, all this stuff is going to bounce. That's what I should be getting. Yeah, Duco. That looks pretty good. 4080. Isaiah, I think that I think that it's a good market for like scalping. Like if you're not looking for, especially as a day trader, if you're not looking for big moves, you're going to be okay. But like the best breakout markets are just like super strong bull markets, right? When things just go up almost day after day after day. Um, because you'll get a 2-3 day run on something and it'll consolidate for, I don't know, maybe a week or so, set up, and then you're going to get another 2, 3, 4, 5 days of just solid breakouts, and you could totally just take advantage of it. Right now we're just kind of falling straight down. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? On a lot of things we're falling down, but intraday price action is sometimes kind of choppy. You'll get a break of a key level, which typically, you could see a pretty solid move down, which would, I don't know if you want to say breakout. Sometimes people say breakdown, but it's kind of the same thing, right? A break of support or resistance. And, you'll see it break, it'll bounce back up, consolidate, break back down, just not as clean as it could be, which sucks sometimes. So is this an ideal market for breakout traders? Not really. And that's kind of why you've seen me trade smaller size, been a lot more careful, and just not looked for these huge moves. And it sucks because sometimes at the end of the day, you'll see Tesla drop 20, 30 points, or SPY drop a ton, or whatever it is. And yeah, sure, if you would have bought and held the whole day, you could have made a ton of money. But that's also kind of just looking in hindsight. I do think that, yeah, maybe I've left some money on the table. Maybe I haven't been as aggressive as I could have. But I do think intraday on these kind of tiny scalps that I typically trade, they haven't really, at least in the smaller time frames, traded out as well, which sucks. So I don't know. I hope that answers that question. There's just kind of so many factors right now. You have Trump speaking or tweeting, or Elon talking, or Powell or FOMC or CPI or GDP or consumer sentiment, consumer confidence. You just like all these, this news comes into play. Obviously, our president is, going crazy with tariffs, and we have a tariff that lasts for 3 hours, and then he negotiates a deal with Canada or Mexico, and the market shifts. So as many of these big moves that we've seen, they're not as easy as you think to catch. And I want all of you guys to understand that, look, if you are a time traveler and you could have bought SPY puts and you could have held them for a couple days and made 1,000%, like, is that a possibility? 100%. But it's just so hard to predict that, right? You always see things after the fact. And as a trader, right, your job is to try to predict things, try to be obviously careful, but also try to predict things. And right now, nobody can predict anything. No one knows if the market's going to bounce. No one knows if the market's going to continue to sell off. Nobody knows what Trump's going to say. Nobody knows what Elon's going to do. Nobody knows anything. So, I think that people are trying to take advantage of options, right? Like big hedge funds, right? They don't need to put $100 million or $1 billion into shorting SPY. Well, they can just short, $1 million worth of SPY puts and, still make the same returns, but their downside risk is not as much, right? They could risk $1 million and look to make a couple, or they're having to go in with huge equity positions. So I do think options are a huge tool for big money guys right now just to try to position themselves in scenarios for the where they think the market could go. So, but that also means like for us as option day traders, at least for me, IV is through the roof, right? I mean, we're seeing Tesla weekly options next week, the week after expiration, they're all, 90% plus, which is crazy. Typically they're 40 to 60%. So it does make it harder on us, but I think that that just kind of solidifies the the reasoning behind being very careful and understanding that no one really knows what's going on. Markets could be choppy, could sell off hard, could bounce hard. No one really knows. So I won't keep like ranting on that, but I want you guys to be very careful right now. And even if that means like, missing out on some money, it's much better to be safe rather than sorry right now. I think y'all can also agree, especially you guys that have been there for a while or been here for a while. Um, you guys know what like a crazy market looks like and what a kind of a terrible market looks like. So I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think? Or what other questions do you guys have? So Isaiah, like CPI always happens pre-market, right? So, if you were holding stuff overnight, you may be a little worried because the market could be up, the market could be down. I think, just kind of thinking bigger picture right now, if CPI comes in good, that could be an easy reason for the market to bounce. And with how much selling pressure has been involved right now, if there's any sort of positive, just broader market news, you could see a bounce on things and it could be aggressive. So, it's always scenario based, but, typically I don't really want to be too aggressive on days where there's CPI or FOMC, especially, but CPI is pre market. So, in the scenario that we're in right now, that could give a clearer direction, as in, what, the economy is not that bad. Maybe the stock market's overreacting to all this tariff stuff or whatever, and this could be time for dip buyers to come in, kind of thing. And that's maybe where we could see some sort of bounce tomorrow. That's my thoughts. um but then again, it could be the opposite. If it comes in bad, it's just another reason for people to sell, 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 market dump, see new low, new low, new low. So it's honestly a coin flip to me. I rather just not try to predict anything right now. Wake up tomorrow morning, kind of see where things are, see what CPI is. If it's exceptionally good, then maybe we're going to see a strong day in the market. If it's on par, maybe things are really choppy. If it's bad, well, I think you could easily see a lot more selling pressure come in, right? I I just want you guys to keep in the back of your mind this isn't going to last forever, and I don't want you to be too aggressive right now to the downside, right? I mean, I know it's tough because you look to the left, right? And you see that a lot of stocks have just sold off super hard, and maybe you haven't made as much money as you wanted to, or maybe you've lost money, or maybe you've done well, right? I don't know. And you want to continue to be aggressive. The longer this downside move happens, you got to think the closer you are to it bouncing, the closer you are for this to reverse. And I don't want you guys to be too over leveraged to the downside, too aggressive. If you're going to kind of scalp it, scalp new low, new low, new low, kind of like I'm doing, that's a safe way to play it, right? You may not make as much money as you hope to, or maybe you could have, but you're at least going to protect yourself to losing money, in a scenario where you're like, what, markets dropped so far, there's no way it doesn't drop anymore today. I'm gonna just full port, or I'm gonna go, spy zero DTE puts and just go for a home run. At least in my experience over like 6 years, the scenarios where I try to do this, I had one of my biggest losses in the bear market when I tried to do that. I was like, you know what? Like, I even had charts from like 2008 up, and I'm like, this is lining up perfectly. The market's going to crash, right? Credit card companies, credits through the roof. No one can pay their credit cards. Stimulus checks are coming into the market, whatever it was, right? There's so many different things I could talk about, but I wanted to really try to press the downside. And one of the bounces I was in, I started buying SPY puts. I was up really nicely. Maybe that was a good trade, but I didn't take profits because I wanted to see a new low. And that's when the market bounced, kind of things stabled out, and then we go straight back up to all-time highs. And I got crushed. That was one of my biggest losing trades. And I don't know what that was like, maybe 2, maybe 3 years ago. I don't know, whenever that bear market happened. I think it was 2022 maybe. Um, so that's I'm speaking from the heart here when I say, as much as it sucks to see the market come down this much, and you didn't capitalize on it as much as you thought you could. Nobody could have known this was going to happen. Nobody could have really predicted it as well. And if you've missed out on it, the worst thing you can do is try to go for another home run, right? Try to catch that new low, try to anticipate the stock market crashing, because that's where you're really going to get hurt, especially if you're in options. Yeah, I mean, Nacho, it seems like things are bad news right now. My personal opinion is the market's overreacted to this. I do think that, there's no reason for Tesla to be down over 50% from its all-time highs when really the company hasn't changed. To me, that shows emotion is involved in the stock. I mean, obviously Tesla's a very emotional stock. It's moved, it moves very crazy, right? You have delivery numbers or earnings or Elon tweets or whatever it is, right? It's not super fundamental, but in an instance like this, when, I don't know that Elon's doing anything necessarily bad for the government. I think investors are just worried that he's way too involved way too quickly. Maybe he's taking attention away from Tesla and putting it more toward the government. And, again, I'm speaking for Tesla specifically because I like to trade it a lot. Um, it, long story short, I just think that it's an overreaction to what's going on. And that makes me want to try to buy up this stock somewhere down here. I mean, considering we were at 488, I think, in December, and we're sitting, we closed the day at 230, is insane, right? That's a $250 move in a matter of 3 months. So I don't know. You can always think technically about things, looking at charts, looking at, the history of charts. But you also, to really become a good trader, you got to think logically as well. You got to think bigger picture. You got to kind of be creative. And that is where, I think I've made the most money just trying to think more of on a logical sense, right? I'm a great technical analysis, like scalp trader kind of guy. But some of my bigger trades that I've had in my career are thinking just kind of the complete opposite, not really focusing on the chart. I mean, yeah, I could say Tesla's down a lot chart wise, but logically thinking, and if you guys disagree, please speak up. I would love other takes on this stuff. But to me, it doesn't make sense for a company like this to be down that much. Um, I don't know. I've kind of already gone over like, Elon and the government and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I mean, like, what do y'all think about that? You guys are kind of quiet here on Discord. Do y'all agree, disagree? Do you think this could go lower? Are there other stocks you want to be looking at? What is it? I'm here for y'all. So, I do this once a week. This is my last stream of the week. I'm going on vacation the next 3 days. I'll be back Monday. So, fire away. Wabbit, I can agree with that too, for the most part. Um, where it's back in October. So, I know you can't see my screen right now, but we are, we are down, a ton here. So we're down at 230 in October. Yeah, we're pretty much down where we are in October. A big reason this did go up is because Trump was elected and people knew that Elon would have ties to Trump. Trump would kind of back Tesla. Maybe things go on behind the scenes and help the company. So that's why this went up, almost over 100%. And we've kind of retraced that whole move now. But like I was saying, Tesla's kind of an emotional stock. It's something that I'm not surprised if it goes up 20, 30, 50% and back down 20, 30, 50%. It's not surprising in that sense. But, just kind of market in general, I think it's an overreaction. Yeah, I mean, Nacho, there's 100% maybe way too hype on the way up. That could easily be the case. That's kind of crazy, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's this kind of underlying thought and theory that Tesla isn't necessarily just going to be a car company in the future. It's going to be more of an AI company, and I could 100% see that happening. So if you see a stock like that down 50%, over 50%, to me that screams buy. To me that screams like take advantage of this, because after we went from 200 to 500, I didn't think we would ever see 200 again. Obviously, unless we split the stock. But I don't know. It's just crazy. It's you don't want to be the guy trying to time the bottom, but if you can kind of buy and hold in areas like this, especially when you get discounts on mega cap stocks over 50% in such a, it's one thing if, Apple came down 50% in a matter of like 2-3 years, right? But if Apple came down 50% in 2 or 3 months, I think that screams overreaction. And that's a scenario where traders can take advantage of it. So that, I don't know, that's just the way that I look at it. Yeah, I mean, I know like Kathy Wood. I know a lot of people. I mean, I think Tesla's a good company. To me, nothing has changed, right? Even though Trump got elected and Tesla skyrocketed and Elon's got involved in Doge and it's come down, what does that have to do with Tesla at all? From like a fundamental standpoint, I mean, to me, it doesn't mean anything at all. Tesla's still the same company. I think any of you guys, when someone says the word electric vehicle, what company do you think of? You don't think of Rivian. You don't think of Lucid. You don't think of Neo. You think of Tesla. And you think of Elon Musk. So, again, it's just I'm kind of going in circles here, but that to me is the way that I look at this, and it makes me think this is a way too big of like an emotional reaction to things. Look, I get it. The whole stock market's going to come down when this tariff stuff happens, and we've never really seen this, and trade war talks, and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of this stuff's negotiation tactics. And I don't know. I think the overall theme here is just an overreaction. So that's why I've constantly been telling at least all the guys that trade with me, be very careful. Don't try to be too aggressive to the downside. At one point, this is going to bounce. And I said the exact same thing when we were up at all-time highs, right? Like if you guys pull up Meta on your charts, when this went from 600 up to 740, and it had like green day after green day, I'm like, guys, please be careful, right? I mean, if you're going to scalp new highs over and over and over again, very tight stop loss, very tight profit targets, great, that can work. It's going to work until it doesn't, and that's when you move on, right? That's a way to trade it. But on the other side of things, at one point, this is going to come back down, and I don't want you to be over leveraged to the upside, because nothing goes up forever and nothing comes down forever. And the further things go up and the further things get way too extended, especially in a straight shot move, straight up or straight down, that's when you have to, a lot of newer traders will look at that and say, well, I got to buy. This is going up. This is a good stock, right? Especially like something like HIMS. I don't know if you followed that ticker at all. It went up day after day after day, huge percentages. And people that, may not do this for a living or whatever, don't take it very seriously. They see that stock in the news, it's already up 75%, and they think that's when they need to be buying it. And that's what separates good traders from bad traders, or experienced to new traders, right? They're buying it when it's already up a huge amount. When the good traders and the guys who do this for a living, they've already caught the move, they've made their money, they're starting to take profits, they're selling, and they're selling shares, they're selling options, whatever it is, to guys that are trying to catch the last little bit of the hype, and then they get crushed. So it's the same principle to the upside as it is the downside. When things have gone straight down, you don't want to be the guy trying to short it, especially after moves as big as we've seen. So I don't know. I mean, do you guys agree with that? Do you disagree? Does that make sense? Are there questions on that? Fire away. We're already about halfway into this, so I want to make sure I can get to everybody here. Sweet. Duco and Breckle, it's always a pleasure. I'm going to send you guys some Stickman YouTube. I'm going to send you guys some crazy pictures and videos from Cabo, so be ready for that. It's like Elon mentioned BTC and SNL. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Any of you free guys, do you have questions about the way that I trade, the chat room, any tickers, anything at all? This is more so for you because I'm around the premium guys every day. I got you, Duco. Where do I see the CPI? So, Jan, are you talking about like the date of it, or are you talking about like where you can see that data, like when it comes out? So, okay, so I see that you're free. So I would go to Econo Day US. Sorry, one second. I'm going to basically send you what to type into Google. Look that up right there, Jen, and you'll see which days CPI comes out on. And I just look at Twitter or kind of Google it because I know that it comes out 1 hour before the open, and I'm not trading that. So it happens, market goes up, goes down, whatever, and then I kind of look up, was it good, was it bad, and then I kind of assess what the market's doing. Do I trade off MA recently? So I don't use moving averages. I think the 200-day moving average is something to pay attention to on bigger time frames, meaning if I'm looking at a chart of like a year's worth of time or whatever, I can look at the 200-day moving average. But other than that, I don't use them day to day. Which mornings do I live trade? So I live trade Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Shin. Monday and Friday, those are going to be premium only. And then Tuesday and Thursdays are going to be free. So premium and free members can join. So this morning I had live trading with everybody. For anyone that obviously missed that or hasn't heard, I haven't taken a vacation in a while. So I'm going to Mexico tomorrow. So I'm going to be gone from Wednesday through the end of the week. But Monday, starting, obviously back Monday, I'll be back. So Breckle, it's either Bull or Mad Maverick. I believe Lee trades Wednesdays regardless every morning, or every Wednesday morning he trades. So it's just going to be Thursday and Friday. I think Pookie may pick up one. I don't know. It's one of the three. So Shin, yeah, that's my schedule. I live trade every day except for Wednesday, but it's different for free and premium. What do you use more than just volume and resistance points? So Wabbit, you volume and support and resistance is going to be the most important things you can know. If you don't understand those, and you're not going to be successful at this. So I would rather the bare bones, or I call that like the bare bones of the market. And then, the only other indicator I use is VWAP. I use the middle VWAP to be very specific. When I started, I used all the indicators, RSI, MACD, stochastic, Fibonacci, all that stuff. And it's just, at the end of the day, if you don't understand how price moves, you're not going to understand, there's, I always like to say, if a red line crosses a blue line and that means you need to buy, it's not that easy, Can you explain what quad witching is and how it affects trading? I see it's happening next Friday. Yeah, so quad witching is the second to last Friday of every quarter, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm going off memory here. I'm pretty sure that's right though. Quad witching basically just means that there's a ton of option contracts expiring that day. And that means like you guys should watch the market honestly on the last like 30 minutes of the day. You're going to see a lot of crazy movement because there's going to be a lot of calls or a lot of puts being, going to expiration. So a lot of like, banks, hedge funds, trading firms, whatever, if they have a ton of options that they want to exercise, well, every option contract that I or they own is worth 100 shares. So if they have 1,000 contracts that are expiring and they have the money to exercise those, well, that's 100,000 shares that need to be executed at whatever strike price that they're at. So you're just going to basically just see a lot of volatility go on. Fast Subi, you may want to Google that as well to get more of a Google answer, but that is how I look at it. I never trade market close, so I never really get involved in that stuff, but I do know what it is. Typically, like on that Friday, I want to be very careful and stuff like that. So um, basically, long story short, a ton of option contracts are expiring, so it brings a lot of volatility to that day, and especially that market close at the end of the week. What's your story and how you got into trading, and what advice would you give beginners you wish you had? So, great question. I haven't been asked this in a while. So, I I'm 22 now. I turned 22 last month. Um, I started trading when I was 15. Just I don't know. I got shown a stock chart by some friends. I was kind of always interested in like investing. I watched the news with my dad and saw stock tickers up and down, whatever. I knew that it was at least business and finance and that kind of stuff was something of interest to me. And I then watched YouTube and stuff, and I saw guys making thousands of dollars in minutes at times. And I thought, maybe it's wimpy of me, but like I don't want to. I come from a family of business owners and stuff, and I've seen them work really really hard, and I never wanted to do something like that. I wanted to see if I can make money more so online, especially with like the technology and whatever. So I don't know. I got interested in it. I started just like everybody else. I had no idea what I was looking at. I started scanning for penny stocks. I had all $200 to my name at 15 years old and try to make money. And I had lots of ups, lots of downs. It sucked. Work summers painting houses and mowing lawns and whatever, and make money to fund a trading account. And I've done a lot of the things that you would kind of expect from a new trader. Anyways, did it for a couple years, joined chat rooms, learned. Got out of high school, got into college, um, and started interning at a trading firm. It's basically an office out of it's an SMB Capital is the name. I'll type it in here. You guys have probably seen it on YouTube. SMB Capital. I'm in their office in Texas. Started interning there for a summer. Uh, I lied to them and told them you got to be a sophomore in college to intern there, and I told them I was. So I kind of lied there, but I interned there my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and learned a ton from them. I ran my own trading Discord for a while, found Penny Boys, loved it, joined, got hired by them, and I've just kind of live traded forever. So it's been a process. I've done it for over 6 years now, and it's great. I have you got to think I'm finishing up college here like in 2 months, and I got guys who are my friends, and they got to go work for a week to make $400 or $500, and there's days where I make 10 times that in a matter of less than 10 minutes. So it was worth the struggles. Believe me, there was so many hard times I wanted to quit. I would stay up for until 2 in the morning watching YouTube videos and all that. So I've been there and done that with every hardship you guys may have gone through already, or going through, or may go go through in the future. So I'm always here to help you, and I'll do anything I can to try to mitigate risk and mitigate the hardships you guys go through. So that's kind of a rundown. I ran a trading club at my college and stuff like that. So I don't know. I've done a lot in the trading world at least at the age that I'm at. So, fanatic, I hope that answered that for you. I use volume resistance. I was seeing if you got a secret formula. Yeah, not necessarily. There's no secret formula. You gotta. It's just like learning, Spanish or French or whatever. You don't know anything about it in the beginning, and then you slowly pick up on it, and at one point you can become fluent in it. Any specific indicator you use for resistance and support? I don't use TradingView, but Mark, I there's no necessarily indicator. It's more so just kind of learning how to find support and resistance. And I have lessons on that. I have recorded lessons on that as well. I don't know if you're in I think you're in my coaching group, right? No, you're not in my coaching yet. You're a premium member though, so you get coaching included. So um, create a support ticket if you would like. Join my coaching. You're not paying anything because you're already a premium member. And yeah, I can help you. I'm sure there's indicators out there, but at the end of the day, you should learn how to do it yourself. What account size do you recommend starting with for your group? So honestly, if you're very new to my kind of like scalping day trading stuff, I would always recommend going in with like a demo account, paper trading, right? Just to kind of get a feel of it. But let's just say that you're already past that. You kind of, have a grasp on what you're doing, how to enter, how to exit, how to follow me, kind of my style, whatever. I don't know, anywhere from 500 to $1,000 could uh, work for sure. Obviously, if you have a $500 account, you can't expect to be making $500 a day. So you have to put things into perspective. I like to try to make anywhere from 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% gains, but I also have losses that are 10, 15, sometimes 20%. And, you know, you can't be going in with your whole account, right? So let's say that you go in with $150 or $200 of your $500 account and you make $200. Or sorry, you go in with $200 and you make 10%, right? That's 20 bucks. So it may not feel like a lot, but if that was a $5,000 account, then you'd be up $200, right? So you have to learn how to make money with a smaller account to obviously make the mistakes and lose and win and do all that, go through all the ups and downs. And then once you can kind of hit that stride and hit that consistency, that's where your account's going to grow, your wins are going to grow, and a $20 day could turn into a $200 day in a year, and a year later it could be a $800 day, $1,000 day, $2,000 day, right? It's all exponential. I did paper trade on BA 221. It was 150 put expiration. Nice, just I love that. Yeah, whenever you're ready for premium, please reach out to me. I'll get you set up. And I don't know if you want to be more of a swing trader or a day trader or whatever, but I'll make sure to get you in the right spot. We can talk a little bit as well. Premium is $140 a month. Coaching specifically is only 40, but if you buy premium, coaching is included. So consider it $100, and then the $40 of coaching is added, and you get both. But you're not just going to get one coach; you're going to get access to a lot of other things that I know you guys don't see on the free side. But like I said at the beginning, I spend 99% of my time with premium people, right? They pay for it. I'm going to give them my time. I give very little time to free. This is the only free stream I do a week, and I try to make the most of it, right? I do want to help you guys because I've been in your shoes, but you're going to get what you pay for in anything in life, I think. And honestly, I mean, just being totally blunt here, I've been in many, many chat rooms before, guys, and $140 is insanely low. I've paid $500 a month for some chat rooms that don't offer even half of what we have here, and it's insane. I can't believe I even paid for it. But I did make some money, but at the end of the day, it was crazy. So I mean, I don't know if Latvians in here. I don't know who all is in here for my live trading today, but Latvian is in here. What'd you make? $700 today? That's like what, 4 months of premium or something like that. I mean, it pays for itself. It's an investment. I want you guys to ask yourself: would you rather lose money to the market not knowing what you're doing, or would you rather invest in more so your education, get the premium signals, get the premium lessons and live streams and stuff like that. So I'm not sitting here telling you guys at all. I don't want it to come off that way, but you have to ask yourself those questions. You're either going to give it up to the market, or you can invest in yourself, because there's so much on the other side of things that y'all don't see. That's awesome, Latvian dude. You're freaking killing it. I'm glad you deserve it. You've been working hard. Almost $900. That's insane. Yeah, there you go, Abbott. Yeah. Yeah, Mark, there you go. That's a perfect example. And we also have like deals like, buy 2 months, get one free. So I mean, essentially, you'll get 4 months free a year if obviously 4 quarters in a year. Buy 3 months, buy 2 months, get one free. I mean, yeah, there you go, Abbott. Yeah, in one day, and he's been, I've met him in person. We had an in person boot camp kind of thing. It's a lot. You guys really don't see much on the free side, and I know that you may even think that you get a lot on that side, but in reality, you don't. How do you monitor or know which stock to do setups for, or is it more so random? It is kind of random, Fanatic. You know, every morning I trade. My watch list is very very small. I only trade about 10 stocks, so I'll look at all 10 of those every morning and kind of see which one looks the best to me, and then I'll go and kind of create a trade idea on it. So there's other guys that trade stocks every day that they have never seen before. It's very different for a lot of people, but I rather trade the same 10 stocks that I know really well. And, I can do very, very good with those. And the reason that I do that, well, the reason that I trade the stocks that I do is because they're the biggest companies in the world, right? I don't trade penny stocks. I trade Tesla, Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, Meta, Netflix, Microsoft, Google, right? Those are the stocks that I trade only. So, one, I find it interesting to keep up with their news and see how their stocks are moving every day. And two, they're much easier to trade especially the way that I do it. Yeah, Latvian, exactly. But you go through those things, you learn from them, and it's only going to make you better. And I hope you stay on this kind of consistent train. And if there is a red day in the future, take the stop loss, boom, move on. Simple as that. Keep it moving. A loss will come, but if you're ready for it and don't take it to heart, you'll just brush it off. Well, so Fanatic, so I'm obviously a day trader, right? So my trades, you're going to need to be there for the first hour of market open, and it's very quick. But there's also, like, we have swing trading coaches in here. Mad Maverick, he buys and holds stuff for a couple days, maybe a week, maybe a month. You have guys like Swinging Bull. He's the other coach. There's three of us. He's the other coach. He does option spreads, so it's kind of like a passive income kind of thing. You're going to need probably about $4,000 to $5,000 though to trade that kind of style. And we also have, Pookie's Revenge in here. He does the rags to riches. So it's like kind of slower investing stuff. Yeah. I mean, Latvian, I like the downside more in specific conditions. I love the downside because IV goes up. To me, it's a little bit easier to read. But yeah, you're crushing it, dude. The only thing is the market doesn't always go down, right? Most of the time it goes up. Yeah, I know. I need to take some of these SPX trades. It's insane. I don't, SPX is so crazy. I try to stay away from it. He does it sometimes in my live trading streams. It's a lot of reversal kind of trades. Yeah, wow, but no, I get it, man. I get it. It's tough. So, that just means that you won't be able to day trade. And well, as considering maybe you're on Central or Eastern time, um, you're just gonna have to, swing trading is gonna be the way that you have to go. And that's just the reality of it. Pacific time, well, that means market opens at 6:30. If you're willing to get up that early and trade, I'm done under an hour every day, typically. I would say 90% of the time, if your market opens at 6:30, I'm done by 7:30. So, I mean, there's times I'm done the first 20 minutes, first 10 minutes. Nice, Isaiah. Cool. So Isaiah is a perfect example then for you, Abbott. I've seen him day trade with me as well. It's one thing if you have to sit there all day on the market, yeah, you don't have time. But for my style, I'm done in the first hour. Honestly, most of the time, even in the first 30 minutes. But yeah, 100% Latvian. Yeah, well, so Wabby, that's my job. So like, I'll just give you a rundown on kind of how like my morning starts. I start my stream 15 minutes before the market open. I already have a watch list, kind of posted to everybody, and I basically just walk through everything I'm thinking, kind of the setup that I want to see, what I'm looking to trade, what I'm wanting to happen, what I'm going to buy, stuff like that. Market opens, and I walk you through, just like I'm talking now, every second of the trade. Whether I'm not in the trade, I like this, I don't like that. Okay, I'm buying now. Okay, it's moving well. I want to see it break this. I literally, and the other guys here can attest to it. I walk through every second of every trade that I'm in. So, you're not going to be flying blind here. I'm not going to say just I'm buying Tesla right now, and just go mute. That's not how I want to do it. I've been in chat rooms that do that. It's very hard to learn, and they do that. So you'll be a repeating customer. So you honestly don't learn. So I don't care about that. This isn't my company. I want to be here and I want to help people as much as I can. So I don't know. I hope that maybe gives you a different view on that because I literally do. Some people say I'm like a radio host or like an auctioneer. Like I'm very quick, but I also walk everybody through everything. But yeah, you don't need to be going and finding setups or anything. I find them for you. People just sit there and copy me if they would like to or listen and learn. Thank you, TK. You've been doing good too. Couple $100 a day. I don't trade then, Mark. I know that's kind of a bland answer, but that's just the reality of it. If the market's not giving opportunity, I don't trade. It's tough in the beginning, right? Because I made those mistakes. I would try to find something because I felt like I needed to make money every single day. And when the market doesn't give me opportunity, I don't care. It's either going to do exactly what I want it to do, or I don't. I don't give it any of my money. Do you use a cash count and you slowly and so you can slowly yeah, so I think anyone that's under $25,000 should use a cash account. I still have got I don't use margin. I have a pretty decent account size. So, I don't need margin and I also don't need to be going in with $50,000 a trade, you know. Um, I'm at the point where I'm happy with a couple $100 a day on my normal like good setup days. I can make, anywhere from 800 to $1,500 on big days. I can make three, four, five, 6,000 bucks. That's just kind of where I am at the moment. I'm not trying to do $10,000 plus days because it's too stressful. It's to me, it's not. all it takes is 2, 3 bad trades in a row, and you could just, I mean, you could lose a ton of money that way. So yeah, I mean, I'm not on a margin account or anything. And also, if you're on a margin account under $25,000, you only have 3 day trades a week, meaning you can buy and sell on the same day 3 times that entire week. So if you do all three on Monday, you cannot day trade again for the rest of the week, or they'll freeze your account. So if you're under $25,000, definitely need to be on a cash account. But yeah, just like TK said, if you want to do spreads or something like that, you got to be margin so you can sell contracts and stuff like that. I got about 5 minutes left here, guys. So get those last minute questions in. I got to get to dinner after this. So um, I'm going to be cutting it off hard it's at 8 o'clock Eastern here. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is my start of the vacay, Duco. So I'll be gone for the rest of the week. I'll have my phone on me and stuff, so I'll still be kind of looking at things, but I won't be doing my normal streams. Hate leaving you guys, but I haven't taken any time off in a while, so it's good to it's good to do this every now and then. Thank you, Top. Yeah, I something that I always like to consider is, working at the trading firm. They'll make everybody take a week off once a quarter. You have to reset your mind sometimes as a trader. Yeah, I'm probably going to be bored to death, or at least maybe thinking about the market, but I'm also going to do my best to just totally disconnect from it all. Thank you guys. Yeah. You do too, Breckle. I hope you guys have a good weekend as well. I'll send you guys some stuff for sure. It's hard not to have fun in Cabo, right? All right. Well, are there any other questions, guys, before I wrap it up? Hood's composer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about crypto, so I apologize. You may want to ask around in the chat. I know there's a crypto side in here somewhere. Cool. Yeah, yeah, it taught me now. Well, you guys, I hope you have a great